task so I could actually start working on it. Right, so I will open the parking lot. You can see here I have one task I have parked, and I have even given it a comment so I can remember whose task it was. And just by clicking on it, the task is going to be opening up. You see here I can say open part question, and then the task that the system gave me before would disappear, and I can work on this task instead. So now the system will load this task in my parking lot for me, and then I can show you the rest. So it can take some time. And just until it's loading, I can show you. So also here you can see the time as you are going with the task. And basically it's a bit different because everything is horizontal, not vertical, like in the Loft 1.0. So you are going to be moving horizontally with the wave line. And then the transcription is going to be vertical, but I'm sure it's going to load very soon. Yeah, it needs a little time. Okay. So first I show you how to get the task ID because it's not as simple here. You can click on this little arrow on top, and here you choose the information. Once you have chosen the information, at the bottom is the task ID, and here using this you can copy. You can copy the task ID vertically, but the audio waveline is horizontally, so you can move with it here, as you can see. And on the left side, you can track the speakers. As you can see, this one has a lot of speakers, so it's not going to be that easy on this platform to review, but you can make the screen a bit bigger. So for example, if you want to see more things at the same time, what you can do is you can press this arrow, which will enlarge the screen a little bit. And also you don't really need this part, so you can just click it, because here on the top you will still see the time that has already passed. So this way you can see a bit more speakers at the same time. And here are the speakers. Every speaker has a different color. And here you can see these colors for the speakers. So here you can see now this is a red speaker, that's speaker Sirius for me. And as I start reviewing this, it's going to be here. And you can see that as the transcription is getting to the waveline is reaching the part of the transcription box is going to jump up, and you can make some changes within. If I have made a change, for example, I deleted something, I just click save, and then it's already saved. So that's basically the same as in Loft 1.0. And this is the way you can enlarge the screen, but as you can see, the only thing you can see at the same time, if you want to check only one transcription box, so this is the minimum you need to see at the bottom, then you can see maybe 3 or 4 speakers at the same time. A little tip, you can check about the noise and music. If there is one noise, for example, for me, and that noise is going to be going from beginning to the end, then I don't really need to see it all the time, because I know it's correct. The whole noise is going through the audio. So it's a little tip for you to make your life easier as a reviewer. You can just unclick this box here, and then as you are reviewing, you don't have to always see the noise. So you can just focus on the speech, and it's not disturbing you, and you can see more things at the same time. And the same goes for music, but this one has 32 music parts, so I cannot just unclick it. I have to check if it's correct or not. So what's the difference is between 1.0 and 2.0, that here the waveline and the transcription goes in a different direction. So you have to get used to it that, yes, the audio is going to be going horizontally, but you have to keep track of the transcription vertically. But also it's easier to remove something. So for example, if a transcription is not needed, you can just click this X here and delete that part of the transcription. And some things that are much easier on this one are, for example, to change the length of a transcription part. For example, if this one is a little bit too long, I can just hold the end and pull it a little bit just with using the mouse. So I click on the end and make the little change. I can make big changes or small. Anyway, so you can just make small changes. You don't actually have to use this control plus semicolon or anything. You can just use your mouse and then save. You always have to save, but the system gives you an automatic message if you have not saved what you made, the changes, and you want to do something else. Yeah, so otherwise the labeling is similar. The rules are also similar. Here is the part where you choose the labels for the speakers, and also to make new speakers, you just put add speaker, and the labeling is similar. You can choose the colors. That's the only change, I think, compared to 1.0, and here are where you use the labels if it's needed, but it automatically gives a no label for speakers, so that you don't need to choose if you are just transcribing. But if you choose something else, for example, music, then you have to choose from this label part and then set the beginning and end. Of course, you can also type the beginning and end time here. That's also a way, or you can use your mouse, like I said, and click at the beginning and end parts and click save. So that's also a good method. It makes your life a bit easier, I think, compared to 1.0. Another thing, if you want to track, for example, the 0.5 seconds, there is a way to jump 0.5, but it's not so easy. So if you press your right or left arrow, it's going to be jumping 500 milliseconds for you. As you can see, I'm pressing the arrows right and left. So it jumps front and back, but it's much more difficult to put, you know, this cursor where the speech ended. So you have to be very careful on that. Another way is, of course, that you just count the 500 milliseconds between the two segments. So you just check the last part and the first part of the next one and check whether the 500 milliseconds has gone. Another thing, as you can see, as I'm clicking on this transcription. So for example, I'm going down. I just want to check at, for example, minute 5. There's a transcription. Oh, I remember somebody wrote something. I just click on it and the audio already jumps there. So that's a good deal. I don't have to search in the waveline. I can search inside the transcription. And if I click on the transcription box, it will jump on the waveline to the same place as well. And I can make changes. If I'm listening to the audio, I can also make changes, but you have to be careful, because if the waveline...
És pont előtte nézett ki úgy.
Okay, so one thing. This is not going to be jumping perfectly for you, so you sometimes have to choose where you are, especially with many speakers coming up. But here, if I make changes while I'm listening, it doesn't disturb the audio, so the waveline. But if I want to make changes when it has already passed the waveline, you will see what will happen. Oh, sorry.
Lovaskocsik száma eladott lovaskocsik értéke, ára leesett volna $40-ra, $25-ra. Előtte nagyon-nagyon sokáig, hogyha adtam el a lovaskocsikat, akkor minden egyes eladott lovaskocsiért.
I hope you saw what I did. So basically, I'm still listening to the audio, but I'm making changes to the previous transcription box. It's possible. So I can just click in the transcription box. If you are clicked in there, then it's not going to move. So you can make changes even while the audio is playing ahead. So that's not a problem. You don't have to keep stopping it just because you want to make a change in the transcription box. That's actually a new thing because it was an issue before, but they have improved it a little bit. So now it's possible to make changes while you are listening. Yeah, so basically this is the main idea of the platform. I think you see the biggest difference between 1.0 and 2.0, that the waveline is different. And I think some things are very good because they have improved the way you can move the beginning and end of a transcription box. But as you can see, there is one difficulty. If you have many speakers, then you can't really see them at the same time if it's more than like 4 or 5 speakers. So for example, in this task, there are like a lot of speakers, so I would have to check many times to see all of them. But if I go in the audio line, because I want to show you a little bit where there is more speakers ahead, that they are going to be jumping between speakers. Here it's good. So here, let's see.
Oké, az a lovaskocsi jobban megfelel a tesztüzemünknek, amit szeretnénk. Most nyilván butaság ezt itt leváltani, viszont amit szeretnénk actually tesztelni, arra sokkal jobb az a lovaskocsi. Úgyhogy most ti nyilván ettől függetlenül látjátok, hogy mi történik, meg hogy történik. Sőt, ráadásul vannak lovaskocsi.
So as you can see, it's going to be sticking on the top to the one speaker that you have set it to. So if you are trying to track speaker series, for example, me, it's not going to be jumping between the speakers. So just because this speaker has arrived here, the waveline, the speakers are not going to be jumping. So if I just want to track speaker series, then it's a good idea to just check this part you set for that speaker. And then as you go with the waveline, it's not going to be jumping between the speakers. It's only the transcription box where you can see there is a new speaker arriving here. So I think that's also very good. For one speaker, I think it's no problem, even for like 3 or 4. This is only an issue when you have many speakers. You can try as much as you can, I think, to fit in the screen what you can. But you definitely need to see at least 1 or 2 transcription boxes. I like to see 2 at the same time, because then I can already see the numbers of the end and beginning times, if I have to see, for example, the 500 millisecond rule or something. So I like to see 2 of them at the same time, but if you just see 1, then you can see much more speakers at the same time. Yeah, so I think I have said everything that I wanted to say about this. So now you can ask some questions. I'm sure you have. Sorry, one more thing. So this task that I have opened, I can park again. So if I can't finish reviewing it, for example, I have passed till minute 20, but I'm not finished, I can park it back in the parking lot. I can still add the comment. I call it Sirius because that's the main speaker, and I park it. And now you can see it's going to be in my parking lot. And the system is giving me a new task automatically, but I don't care about that because my task for Sirius, as you can see, is in my parking lot, and I can open it back again. So that's what happens. And when you have finished the task, you press on submit, and then you can't open that task anymore because it's already submitted in the system. So only press submit once you have finished fully the task. And otherwise, if you have not finished and you just basically want to save, the only option to save it is to park it. Okay, so if you have not yet finished it, park it. And if you are fully done, you can click on submit. Yeah, so I think those are the most important things about